live. Welcome everybody back to another live episode of the Saturday Sit Down. I am T. Harris at When the Needle Drops.
And I'm QG at Nerdy Little Bubba.
So we are welcoming everyone back to another episode. This is actually episode 12 of our second season, to be exact. And as always on the Saturday Sit Down, it is our mission to our love for music in a way that is accessible and enjoyable for everybody, from the novice to the knowledgeable, with the goal of always giving factual, meaning we don't never want to be loud and wrong. Let the church say amen.
Amen.
All right. I think we had.
All right. Well, while TH is coming back. Oh, there he is.
Good. Cool.
All right. I'm back. Okay. Yeah, we're having some issues with the internet, man. I'm actually live on location, man, North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So I'm in a resort room right now, but we're gonna try to make it happen without any interruption. So as I was saying, we try our best not to be loud and wrong. But now that we've done our introductions, let's introduce our guest. Welcome back to the show, family, friend, fellow podcaster, fellow music aficionado, JR of the R&B Representatives.
Thank y'all. It's so good to be back,
man. Yeah, man. So tell the people as much about yourself as you want to, man, for those who may not be familiar, because you've been on the show before, but it's been a minute. So kind of update the people on yourself and what's going on with the R&B Reps.
Okay, so I'm JR, one half of the R&B Representative, the better half. Hey, Elise. Hey, girl. We talk about R&B albums, R&B songs, all that. You guys have came on the show. It's been amazing. Y'all been on the show a couple times, so it's great. You know what I mean? Y'all doing this. I'm just excited to be back, man. This is just, y'all are amazing. Y'all know I be up in the lives cutting up, so y'all know I'm going to be cutting up with y'all tonight. So I'm glad, y'all. Yeah. So y'all just follow the R&B Reps on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I'm ready to get this started. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. So we, like I said, we've had JR on the show before. His co-host Elise is missing tonight, but we know she gonna be. She I ain't gonna say that because I ain't getting in trouble with her.
She gonna kill me when she see it, but okay.
She gonna kill you when she see this. So at least when you watch the recording after you get off work this evening, remember we didn't say that JR did. All right,
that's on him.
So we love you. We love you, Elise. So you tell the good folks what we talking about this evening, man.
This evening, we are talking about the boogie period of R&B and soul music. That period from 1979 to 1986, post-disco, before New Jack Swing. All the songs that you love, that you heard growing up at the family cookouts, the songs that you saw on Solid Gold, Dance Fever, most importantly, Soul Train, and sometimes American Bandstand. These are the songs that we are going to talk about, or the time period of music we're talking about this evening.
Yes.
Yeah. Or as you like to refer to them as, and I'm going to let you go ahead and say it. What you call them, man?
I call it the Champagne Soul and Jerry Curl Funk period.
Yes, you do.
and I gotta confess. I gotta confess. So the Champagne Soul thing came from a party that occurred in DC probably about 10 years ago, in which they said they were going to be spinning Champagne Soul at this club. It was I want to say it was Live. And so I saw it on the party file. I was like, oh, that shit kind of catchy. And so then I threw in the Jerry Curl Funk because a lot of people during that time period had what? The California Curl, which got colonized as the Jerry Curl.
Yeah. The California Curl.
Well, that's what it was. It was the California Curl. It was invented by a black dude in Compton. But then all of a sudden, this white hairdresser named Jerry Redden decided that he wanted to use it to get black dollars, and so it became known as Jerry Curl. See, y'all think I know,
man. Yeah, give her the history behind the name Jerry Curl. Yeah, we go, like I said, we try to teach y'all something on every episode, man. So this is the music right here. This is the music I always refer to as like the skating ring joints because this is the music like when I would go to the skating ring on the weekends, like in the early 90s. And this is the music that my parents absolutely loved and got down to in the early 80s, like I said, late 70s, early 80s. So this is their music. So I know my mom will actually at some point, and she gonna give me some feedback on making sure we got this thing right. And JR actually mentioned that before the pre-show that Mom Dukes is watching. So you better make sure.
Yes, Mom. Make sure it's right.
Yeah. So we gotta make sure we do it right. So before we get into the topic, fellas, we've had some more. Like I don't know what it's been, man, but since like October of 2024 up until now, man, we've had some significant losses in the music industry. For those that were either behind the scenes or those who were on the mic. But in the last several weeks, we've lost Wayne Lewis, we've lost Ananda Lewis, and we've lost Sly Stone. So let's start with Wayne Lewis, man. So JR, you are our guest, man. Let's talk about Wayne Lewis, man. You kind of share your thoughts about Wayne and his impact on the soundtrack of our lives.
Listen, he was a part of Atlantic Star, man. He played the keyboards and he was such a vocalist, you know what I'm saying? So and he was so young. Like that's what threw me. Like I thought it was a joke. Like you know how many people that they killed over social media. So when I saw it, I was like, nah, I don't believe this. And when they said it was, I was just like, damn, you know what I'm saying? It's just like our legends are like going, you know what I'm saying? And then it was just like back to back to back to back. I was like, I can't take this. But I mean, he did his thing on Always, even though me and Elise say it's a little dry. We call it Atlantic Moon. We call him Atlantic Moon.
Atlantic Moon.
We say Atlantic Moon. Man, but Always is a top joint.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Cut by Atlantic Star. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, my cut from Atlantic Star is Send For Me. That's a cut right there, man. That's a jam right there.
Yes.
All right, anything you want to share about Wayne Lewis, man?
What can I say? I mean, JR pretty much covered what I was going to say, but Atlantic Star, I mean, hey, you cannot have the Boogie period without mentioning Atlantic Star, and Wayne Lewis was the engine behind it. And like you said, you know, the cut for me was also Sent For Me, but I also like touch, you know, 4-Leaf Clover, Silver Shadow. My favorite one is Circles. You know,
come on, Elise will love you right now.
You can't go wrong with Always, but Secret Lovers. Now, when I was a kid, I heard this song play because you know my parents had the single, and I got it now. And they play, Secret Lovers. So I would just be singing along to the song, not realizing what they was really talking about. Yeah, that was a side piece jam.
Side chick anthem. Yeah, that's a side chick anthem right there, man. And they were singing it all lovingly too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had no clue, man. You gotta listen to the music. All right, Ananda Lewis. So, I mean, listen, all of us that are of a certain age, man, we know who Ananda Lewis, and like, I don't think we'd be doing this show right now without her influence. What kind of bothered me though is everybody talked about her on MTV, not realize she got her start as a co-host on Teen Summit with Prince DeJour on BET in the 90s, man. So she was one of those first BET personalities that transitioned successfully to MTV and then later on as a talk show host. So Ananda, man, she was that girl.
Yes. That black entertainment television where she started at. Because it was making me think when I thought about Ananda Lewis, I was thinking about when she interviewed Faith, her, and what was the other guy that was on with her? I forgot what his name was, the guy on Teen Summit with her.
Oh, Prince DeJour.
Yeah. And I just remember them interviewing Faith, and I just remember her with that. And like you said, everybody was going to the MTV days. I was like, no. She started with us first. You know what I mean? Then she just got commercially bigger with MTV. So
And she fought valiantly with her battle with breast cancer, man. So prayers to her and her family, particularly her son, man, who I just realized that he had just been promoted from 8th grade to high school prior to her passing away, man. So Chastity said it best. She said, yes, Ananda means a lot, especially for my childhood. She had a girl I rode the school bus with, a girl in middle school, 2001. She had her on the show. She said it was a crazy true story. Yeah, man. Like she impacted a generation of music heads. And she did it in a way that was like just real and down to earth, but like was the consummate professional as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like JR said,
and
she did it when it was black entertainment television.
Yeah.
Black like this.
Yeah. And she was an alum. If y'all remember, she was an alum of Howard University. She was in Shy's "Baby I'm Yours" video. Yep. She had actually attended Howard with those fellas. Yep. Mm-hmm. Sly Stone.
Thank you.
We're gonna spend a little bit of time on this one, man. Yeah. Come on, man. Like
you talk about a heavy hit.
Let's start with you, man.
You talk about a heavy hit. When I saw that come across my phone, Sly Stone was a genius. Okay. Sly Stone was a genius. Sly Stone was the one. Without Sly Stone, there would be no Prince. Let's just be real. Without Sly Stone, Parliament, Funkadelic, P-Funk All-Stars, Parlay, none of them would have been able to walk through the doors that he was able to kick down. Without Sly Stone, you would not have seen the floodgate of black artists being signed to CBS Records, particularly Epic.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was the one, because his group was multicultural, multiracial, and one of the ones that was able to get signed with CBS and or Epic at the time when they was not trying to sign any black artists.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just a pure genius.
Right.
He had so much influence, and he could give you a rock and roll psychedelic song, but he could also give you a psychedelic soul song, but he could also give you just a pure soul song. And I think during that time period, and we were talking about this offline with some of the fellas, I think during that time he was just misunderstood by black audiences.
Yep.
But he also was not understood by white audiences. Because even though he gave them a rock song, they would be like, what's this psychedelic soul type thing you're doing? But then black folk wasn't necessarily latching on to the psychedelic soul that he was doing either. But none of that stopped him from creating greatness. And I just really wish other things had not gotten in his way. Because if those things not getting his way, man, he would have ruled, he would have dominated the 70s and probably the 80s too.
Yeah.
So,
and you said it best, man.
Janet Jackson was the one that said, you know what, I'm going to take a sample from one of his songs that I like too. Thank you for letting me be myself. And she flipped it for, Rhythm Nation.
Yeah. Not only that, but then you got LL Cool J, who took Trip to My Heart. Marley Marl took that loop and made that into Mama Said Knock You Out, and Dr. Dre with Deep Cover. That was the debut of Snoop Dogg. So, I mean, Sly, it was sampled heavily in hip hop. But that's one thing you mentioned, man. You said that in the conversation you and I had, sidebar conversation, was like a lot of black folks criticized Sly because they didn't feel like he was black enough, but then white folks didn't feel like he was too black. Like it's that weird balance, man. If y'all haven't had an opportunity to check out the documentary on Hulu by Questlove on Sly Stone, it's called Sly Lives: The Burden of Black Genius. It's excellent, man. So I'm glad I was able to catch that prior to him passing away. So we're gonna jump right into it, man. I wanted to definitely give these folks give these people their salute in their passing. So we're gonna change up the format of the show a little bit. So typically, when we have guests on, we spend a lot of time talking about our top 5 favorite songs. But with this particular topic, we decided to go from top 5 to deep dive. So Q, kind of tell the people, why we decided to change it up a little bit. We're gonna do something different in today's episode.
Well, we decided to change it up because this is more of a as you just said, deep dive discussion. There's so much music that came out during that time period. Can't really narrow it down to just top 5 or even top 10. But we got to give you the whole entire picture of how the boogie period even came into being, and understanding its place on how it impacted music beyond the time frame that it was, for lack of better terms, hot.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, like I said, top 5, the deep dive. We're gonna really get into this topic because we've got to explore. We got to put this thing into some historical and some cultural context as well. We got to talk about what R&B music was like before this, and then what happens after. So, in the trailers, I said, this is that time period that it sits in between disco and New Jack Swing. So we're gonna try to talk about that before, put things in its proper perspective, but also talk about some cultural things as well that sort of led to this music becoming what it is. So we're gonna jump right into the first question, man. So first question is to both of y'all, man. Whoever wants to answer first. When you hear the word boogie, what's the first song or artist that comes to mind?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. So for me, I'm gonna say the song that really comes to my mind when I think about boogie would be D Train, You're the One for Me. Mm-hmm. When that one comes on, it's just because boogie of the synthesizers that's used and the drum program. That's what's really kind of the difference. But when I heard that for the first time as a kid, it stopped me because I was like, what is this? It's not disco, but it's something different. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's going towards more of the house instead of disco. So it was giving you that type of flavor. And it just, because the way he came in just singing off the break, and then that thing comes in. Like it just, it just takes you there. So the first time when I'm hearing boogie, I'm like, You're the One for Me by D Train. Like I just go right to there. When you sent me that we were doing this, when I started doing a little research, that was the first song I played, and I had that joint on repeat. Yes, yes, repeat.
That's one of them songs that smacks you in the face.
Oh my god!
As soon as that beat drop, and like you said, you don't expect it based on the intro because he started off like singing, like almost harmonizing a little bit, man. But when they come in, man, I'm telling you. All right, Q. Same question.
That's a pure skating ring jam too.
Boogie. What is the first song or artist that comes to mind, man?
I mean, you already know which one I'm going to default to because it's the first one that I heard as a kid. I'm going with "Make That Move" by Shalimar. I cannot help it. In my mind,
I wasn't going to do it because I knew one of y'all was going to do it, so I was like, "Go ahead."
I mean, that's the first thing I think of when I hear the term boogie because look at how it opens. Look at how Leon Silver's put everything together. Look at how I think the name is Dana Spencer. I think put together the lyrics. And how Howard comes in.
Yeah,
I mean, you can conjure up a picture of people just getting down as soon as the song opens. And if you see videos of it on YouTube, that's exactly what happened. So my first when I hear the term boogie, that's the first song I'm going to default to always and forever.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit about this when we talk about what made boogie so different from disco and funk. But JR spoke on that when he talked about those damn synthesizers, man. Like that's when you knew that synthesizer and that Roland 808, man. That was it.
Yep.
Yeah.
The guitar too.
So let's kind of give the folks some background, man. Let's talk about R&B and soul music before boogie. So let's put this thing in the proper context because when we talk boogie, we talking 79 to about 85, 86. So Q, I'm going to flip the question to you this time, man. Tell the folks a little bit, and then you and JR can kind of play off each other if you want to. But what was R&B music like 70s prior to boogie coming into play?
Well, you got to think, I mean, the music was transitioning from that Motown Stax sound, so to speak, although Stax had a more greater prominence in my opinion. But early 70s gave you the funk with James Brown, but it also it started that love song trend, like Shy Lights. You heard Old Girl, you heard Have You Seen Her? And then as we got into the mid 70s, that funk was still around, but to me, it started becoming a little bit more sophisticated. But here comes disco. And disco came about 75, 76. And everybody started kind of transitioning to that faster pace of music, but also was still giving you the love songs. So I'm not going to say that R&B was all over the place, but R&B was was slowly making transitions. But I think disco in my mind, kind of overshadowed it just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. And then
Yeah.
soul music, the same thing. You know, soul music started going out as far as being the hot thing and being the trend as disco came on, because nobody wanted to slow drag anymore.
Nope. I agree. I think that, like you said, coming into the 70s, it was like getting over that Motown-ish. So we was getting into that early Philly soul. Philly comes in, and that, you know, Gamble and Huff was just killing it. You know what I mean? And then also the psychedelic stuff with Norman Whitfield and all of that. They were coming in there with that. So then you also had that funk, which included Sly. Sly had that. You know what I mean? And then you also had James that was doing it. But then once, like, early, maybe 73-ish, you started hearing a little transition of going into disco. But then by 75, it was a rap. It was a rap. And it was just like everybody was doing disco. Hell, it was, you couldn't even try to even sing and you could get a disco joint. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, but like you said, Q, it just took over everything. And a lot of artists was getting a little pissed off with it, to be honest with you, because taking it back to Marvin didn't even want to do Gotta Give It Up. He just threw that at Motown because he was like, we want you to do a disco record. And he was like, come on, like, I don't want this. He was like, this is a fad. You know what I mean? Like, he felt that he was like, yo, this is just to get people on the dance floor, fine. But by the time after that, you know, you see something was happening. About 79, it was like, uh-oh, we're having another transition again. And then that's when we go into Boogie. But before then, we were killing it. Like, it was us.
Yeah.
The 70s was so black.
It was us.
Like,
it was.
You hit on something. You hit on something about artists not necessarily wanting to do it, because I read an article about Barbara Mason. Barbara Mason said that they were trying to get her to do disco songs, and she absolutely refused. She said, this is not me. I think they were trying to push Al Green in that direction also, and he was not with it. Now, Teddy Pendergrass, I think, threw a couple disco songs at them.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't know if Teddy wanted to do that either.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but you know, I don't think he wanted to.
He didn't.
Yeah.
You felt that, because it was just like with them, with Hal Melvin and the Blue Notes ish, they was kind of into that disco world. So once he went solo, he was like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to get funky. Because you saw what was going on. You saw Rick. Rick was funky. You saw all of these, you know, Parliament, and it was funky. Like, he looking like, I ain't trying to do this, but it's the time, so I'll throw Only You at you. I'll throw that at you. You know what I mean? I'll throw you, Get Funky, Get Loose. Okay, fine. I'll throw that at you too. But you know what I'm saying? I still want that funk. You know what I'm saying? So he wanted that, and I know he was glad when that was over, so he can tell us to turn him off and yell at us. But you
know what? And you just hit on something else, Rick James, because Rick James was like, "I'm gonna do it funky," but I don't think like the song. It's one particular song, "You and I." I don't think he meant that to be a disco song. I think he wanted that to be
no.
Soul jam.
That's funk, man.
But it became a disco hit.
Mm-hmm.
One of the comments, let me highlight this comment here. Walt just said Maurice White didn't want to do Boogie Wonderland either. No, he didn't. He did not. A lot of black artists, I've been getting the impression, did not want to be in that disco world because they knew.
Yeah.
They knew. The only ones outside that probably wanted to be in that world is Chic. But Chic knows how to produce and make music.
Yes.
We'll talk about that. So listen, man, Boogie Wonderland always trips me out because like they even seem uncomfortable in the music video for that. Like that wasn't a thing, man. That was.
I mean, he could have let the emotions keep it then. I mean, he could have let the emotions keep it because it was their record. But the label was like, we want you to have a record kind of disco-y. So he took it and, you know, the emotions got screwed over it. But, you know, Maurice, you could tell they looked very uncomfortable in that video. Like, they were like, this is not us. Like, no like, it seemed too plain. Like, nah.
Yeah. So, you know, so you guys y'all brought up a good point about the various transitions in the 70s when it came to the different types or subgenres of R&B. What album in particular do you think was the album that sort of put Boogie on the map? And that's not a question I had on here, but I kind of thought about that as y'all were talking about it. What do y'all feel like is the album or song that sort of made Boogie the sound? Like, okay, this is different than disco. It's R&B, but yeah. So what do you guys think?
You know who I'm thinking about? The one that Q came on the show and did. I'm thinking about No Parking on the Dance Floor, but no, I think that's too late for real, because that's 83, right? 83, 84. So by then we already 2 years in it. So I'm trying to think. Maybe could it be Shalimar?
Actually, I'm gonna go with the Whispers.
Good one. Yep.
I'm gonna go with the Whispers. I'm gonna go with the Whispers. It was the self-titled album. It came out in 79. As the Beat Goes On.
Yep.
Because to me, that's like that's when the transition kind of started. Because if you listen to it, it's not a disco song. It's soul. It has some disco elements, but it also gives you that boogie.
Yep.
And so I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
I might have to agree with that one. Like, I didn't think. I was like, I would have to go with the Whispers till the beat goes on, because that's when the transition happened. And like you said, 1979 to 1986. So that was when the transition happened. So I agree. I agree with that.
And it was on from there. Shout out to Don Cornelius and Dick Griffey, Solar Records. Man. So we'll talk more about them as we go on. So you guys talked about disco just kind of being everywhere. Everybody was doing the disco. Record labels were trying to push more traditional R&B artists into this sound. So let's talk about the backlash against disco. Okay. In particular, 1979 Disco Demolition Night. Okay.
Disco popcorn ready, because I'm ready to act up.
I'm ready to go off. Yes.
I'm ready to act up.
Let's go. So
I'm ready to act up.
Let me tell you guys, when we talk on this show, we keep it real. We're going to be honest. We're going to put things in the proper historical and cultural and societal context, right? So disco was everywhere.
Lyrics, because I'm going to go off.
Okay. So this backlash against disco demolition night. I don't remember the DJ's name, but these folks went out there and they burnt all these disco records and were smashing them and all this kind of craziness at the Chicago White Sox game. And all of a sudden, black artists that were doing disco couldn't get no play on the radio. They weren't selling records no more. They were getting dropped from their label deals. Was it really about the music?
Hell no, it wasn't about the music.
No, it wasn't.
Hell no, it wasn't about the music.
Go off.
Let me tell you something. So by the time 1979 rolled around, as JR stated, disco was everywhere. It was in television commercials. It was on TV. Like, they would always try to find a way to work disco into an episode of a television show. It was everywhere. Well, disco was also outselling rock, pop, and country. So right around late 1978, you started seeing this movement, the disco sucks movement, right? And, people got their likes and their dislikes. Okay, that's fine. But what happened was that it did not have a bigger... Well, let's go all the way back. What really started to spark this off was when Studio 54 got busted and it became nationwide press. And people, a certain segment of people in a certain part of America, a certain group who was always seen to be agreed over everything, started looking more closely at this disco thing and did not like it because of who was involved, who was having fun. They did not want black and brown joy, did not like black and brown people having so much prominence.
Nope.
You had certain A&Rs that did not like the fact that these people were making money, even though the record labels were making more money, hence why they were pushing disco. But the disco sucks movement caught fire when a particular radio DJ, TH, as you stated, basically was out of a job because a lot of radio stations started switching their formats from pop, rock, country over to disco. So a lot of those DJs were either out of business or they had to play the music even though they didn't like it. Well, this particular guy didn't like the fact that he got pushed out of his role. And he was a popular DJ from what I read up on, right? So that's when they had Disco Demolition Night at Comiskey Park. But now you can pretty much guess what happened when you take people blowing up records and shit, and then getting drunk off a 25-cent beer. They tried to blow up the damn stadium. They tried to tear down the stadium. And so after that happened, that's when they started. The backlash against disco was quick and it was heavy. As you stated, records were being sent back to the record labels. Artists were being pulled off the radio stations, particularly the black and brown ones. Nobody wanted to touch disco. Nobody wanted anything to do with disco. So to me, it was not about the music, because one of the biggest selling artists of that time, during that time period, was the Bee Gees. Look at who fronted Casey and the Sunshine Band, Harry Wayne Casey.
Come on.
So it was not about the music. It was about a group of people who, as per usual, were aggrieved because they felt like their way of life was being trampled upon. They were being forgotten about. They were being stepped on, overlooked. I mean, you know what? I'm not gonna do it today. So I'm gonna leave that alone. But just know it's always a certain group of aggrieved people who, did not like what they saw. And so something had to be done.
And you mentioned,
and boy, was it done.
You mentioned black and you mentioned the black and brown community, but some of this backlash was also related to the homosexual community too.
LGBT we're getting there. Well. Oh yes.
Yeah. So I'll stop there. JR, you go ahead and chime in, brother.
Chime in.
Okay, so I agree with what you're saying, but y'all see what I was saying in the 70s where blacks were killing it. We were owning the 70s, charts wise, all that. It was our solo artists that were doing it. It was our groups that were doing it. It was our bands that were doing it, all of that. And the white people couldn't take it. They couldn't take it at all. They hated it. They didn't like it and all of that. And finally, when disco came along, it made more black artists get popular and more of this. So they hated it. So then the gays now are now popular from this. Oh, they couldn't stand it. That's why they created New Wave. And clearly, y'all know New Wave is us. Let's just be real for what that is. Y'all tried to blow up disco because you didn't like us running the music industry, but you create New Wave, which ain't nothing but us, because that's why we know it, because it's very rhythmic.
Oh, I'm going to take it even further. So when they blew up disco, as per usual, the people that blew it up were short-sighted and didn't realize that America is all about escapism. Okay? America is all about escapism from a hard day's work, from a hard week at work. America is all about escapism. So Americans still wanted to get dressed up. Americans still wanted to go out. Americans still wanted to go out and shake their asses under flashing lights. To eat under the influences of either alcohol or booger sugar. Ain't a damn thing gonna change that. Okay, they killed disco, but they did not kill that thirst. So the record label said, well, how can we fulfill this thirst, and how can we still recoup the money that we're losing from the disco backlash? What we'll do, we will create a new category and call it dance music. And we will put faces to dance music that is palatable to the majority.
Yes.
Black and brown artists will be mainly black ones, will be relegated back to the soul and R&B category. But we're going to allow a couple of y'all to produce the music for the dance music. Not all y'all.
Yeah.
Well, if you.
Yeah. And you mentioned Nile Rodgers, right? So Nile Rodgers spoke. He had spoken at length about how Chic was hit after hit after hit, not just on the R&B charts, but on the pop charts as well. All of a sudden, there's this backlash to disco, and he can't get any work. But then he meets a gentleman by the name of David Bowie. It basically gives him a Chic song, and it's his best charting record ever, becomes David Bowie's biggest hit. He also writes and produces Lucky Star for a young lady by the name of Madonna,
who became the face of
dance music.
And you gonna tell me that it wasn't rave? Like, come on,
because if you've listened to Madonna's debut album,
ain't nothing but us.
If you read the credits, you can see that everyone that she worked with on that album were those who became successful off disco. They gave her Boogie records.
Yeah,
and it was
exactly
dance music. Yeah,
exactly
it was dance music.
And the other piece to it is, even though again the as per usual folk killed disco, and even though they tried to change the face of it into dance music, there was another movement that was on the heels of disco, and this one they was not going to be able to kill. The only way it gets killed is by the people who actually created it, and you already know what that is.
Yeah,
hip hop since 1973.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Which hip hop had what?
There you go.
Early elements of disco music.
It did.
And
It did. Basically, all those samples, those early samples that Grandmaster Flash and Kool Herc and them guys were using, those are disco records, man.
And think about what we were saying about, new wave as well. They was doing nothing but using synthesizers like we were. So what? I mean, come on, like y'all were just taking what we were doing, but y'all just wanted to be in front of it. That's all that was. But again, you know how we are. We can make a black out of a mold. We know what to do. Give us a little bit, and we can still make big. Because y'all still needed us anyway. Like you said, Nile Rodgers rocking with Madonna, or Reggie Lucas rocking with Madonna. Or you know what I'm saying? Or like you still needed us. So you tried to destroy it, but y'all like to see us behind the scenes rather in front. You know what I mean? And that's all that's about.
And not only that, but okay, you pushed black folk back to the soul and the R&B category. Hence why the boogie movement was born. And they still bought those records and still played those records. So we found a way out of no way.
That's
because
right.
we would just go away. When in fact, the only thing that happened was it pushed black music even that much further. This t-shirt that I'm wearing is a symbol of how much you could not kill black music.
That's right.
Because this show was running over American Mexican.
Yeah.
Big time.
Listen, so Bernie Worrell with the Talking Heads. Come on,
yes! Come on. You can't.
We're talking about one of the founding members of Parliament Funkadelic was working with Talking Heads, who were one of the biggest new wave groups of that era. That's crazy. Yep. Hey man, y'all cooked on that. I ain't gonna even lie. So let's move to the next topic. What made boogie different from disco or funk? So for those people who may not be familiar with boogie, what made it different from disco and funk music? So oftentimes, y'all, you'll hear boogie referred to as post-disco music or post-disco funk or post-disco R&B. So what made it different than disco or funk? Seeing that they were pretty much came out of that same era. All right, either one of y'all can answer that.
Yeah, you got it.
So for me, I think disco, it was always an upbeat. It just was. Like, it was always an upbeat, and it always gave you a dance break. That's what just disco did. You always got a dance break from it. You know what I mean? Once we got to post-disco, that they call it boogie or whatever, it was that now it was maybe a little slower, and it was leading more towards house than it was the disco, for real. Because disco, like you said, it's a whole thing. You need the disco lights, and you needed the flare legs and the this and the that. It was the whole thing. When it came to boogie, it was just a whole different era now, because now we got the curly hair now. You know what I mean? It's no longer the fros no more. You know what I mean? Dudes ain't going to the skating ring with a fro now. Now they spraying curl free all through their hair. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different thing, and it's a whole different way musically, the way you approached it. Disco was just upbeat the whole time and a dance break, and that's what you got. Boogie, it was a little bit more instrumental for real, because again, you're using the drum machine and you're using more synthesizers. Even though Stevie was already doing that, because Stevie was doing that in the 70s too. But now it was because he kind of a little bit of the inspiration of it all. But then after that, it's kind of like, this is kind of where we're going. It's a little bit more musical now. Now it's a little different of taking the instrumentation out, because this is where now musicians are not getting called a lot anymore. You know what I mean? Now we got these drum machines where they could actually use and plug in a horn if you need it. You didn't need the horn player no more. You wanted to plug in the guitar. You didn't need a guitar player anymore. So you kind of saw a little bit. I mean, at least like to talk about it, how it's so, we would say that it's the experimental era. Like we call it the experimental era because you got to try to, we had to find a fit in somewhere because it was like, okay, now this new wave is in. And now we got to try, okay, we don't want to do that, but we want to add a little soul to it because new wave ain't nothing but stuff without salt and pepper on it.
So I see it as a balance. It was a balance. It's a balance.
Right.
Yeah.
So right now it's on 4 on the floor. Yes. So
it's a balance.
Right, you got anything you want to add to that?
Well, it's a balance because funk was slower, right? Mm-hmm. It was like extremes. Funk was slower, disco was faster. Mm-hmm. Boogie took those two and was like the middle ground. Mm-hmm. They found a middle ground in which they're gonna make it funky as a septic tank. It's gonna be danceable like disco, but not so much, like disco. It was a balance, is the way I see it. Mm-hmm. And like JR said, you no longer needed big bands. Yeah. Like if you think about like Cameo, when Cameo first came out, they were like a 10, 12 person band. Yeah. By the time they came out with I think it's the Alligator Woman album, they were down to like 3.
That's all you needed.
You didn't need a whole 12 piece
3.
band.
Yeah, they had 3.
You didn't need the orchestra no more playing the violins. Yeah. All that could be done by the keyboard or the guitar. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it still felt a little bit more organic.
Yeah.
All right. Good responses there. So we already talked about one of them being Solar, but what record labels, I can even say executives, who helped push this sound into the mainstream? Who do you feel like is the record label, record exec who sort of pushed this sound out there?
Besides Solar, I'm gonna go with South Soul.
Good. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with South Soul Records because South Soul, they were like self-distributed and they were one of the labels that pushed forward the Boogie sound. I will also say A&M Records, believe it or not. Yeah, they pushed forward the Boogie sound. There was another label, smaller label called Prelude, which I believe D-Train was on.
Yeah, D-Train was on Prelude.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I would say maybe even Taboo. Clarence
Taboo, definitely. Yes.
Yeah, Taboo. Yeah, most definitely.
Taboo. Yep. And one more I throw in, West End Records. I think that they made a great transition from disco to boogie. You know what I mean? Because you had artists like you said Barbara Mason, and you had Raw Silk, and you had Tanya Gardner, and you had all of those that kind of, was able to come out of that disco era and kind of do that. So West Wind was another one that I felt like was, and these are smaller labels because again, we have to start from square one again. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not getting the backing of these labels anymore. So it's like, now it's like this distribution that we got, it ain't, it was like Casablanca was everywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they didn't have to worry about nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. They didn't have to worry about no distribution or nothing. Okay, you're on Casablanca record, it's gonna get used. But after disco, it was like, nah, y'all needed backing because everybody wasn't sending, these songs out to different record labels because people wasn't getting it and people wasn't playing it. So now you got to start from square one. So to me, I think West End and Taboo and Solar and all of those, and Sugar Hill, because hello hip hop. So for sure, you know what I mean. So those are labels.
So Tamusha says, how about Epic Records? The only reason why I would say yes is only because of Michael.
Yeah.
Only because of Michael and to a certain extent Luther.
Yeah.
And Luther,
Michael and Luther.
Yeah. Yeah, those Luther up tempo records were Boogie records, man. Like,
yeah, basically.
Yeah. I mean, Off the Wall is a post disco album. I mean, essentially.
Yep. And
All
Arista,
right.
I would give
So we
Arista.
talked about record labels. Let's talk about those who. Yeah.
Ooh,
So we talked about record labels. Talked about the executives. Who were the producers that crafted the sound?
Leon Silvers.
Fun with that.
Leon Silvers, Kashif, the Calloway brothers. Shit.
Narrator Michael Walden.
Michael Walden. Yes, that. Who else? Oh God, it was so many of them. Paul Lawrence. Who else? What?
Well, technically, Chic. I mean, Chic was.
Yeah, you can give it to Bernard. Like you can give it to Bernard Edwards and now Rising. You can give it to James and Tume. You could do it was so many of Reggie Lucas. It was so many of them. Like, and that's why I love Arif Martin, because Martin, even after he did with Shaka and all of that. So he was down with that. You know what I mean? You can throw in obviously Luther. And you obviously throw in Marcus Miller and Greg Fillinghayes. Oh, thanks, Tim. And all of that. So, it's so many producers that help craft the sound. But I think a lot of people kind of go more to Kashif and Leon, and that's where kind of people go there. So, yeah.
Yep. Why do y'all think Kashif and Leon are sort of the more prominent names that people throw out there?
The hits.
I was about to say the hits.
Yeah.
The hits, like Leon,
what he real.
What he did, it was like he had Shalimar, the Whispers. He just had a row at Solar. So it was like he was coming with it. And then once Kashif came in, you know what I'm saying? He got with, Evelyn Champagne King and all of those. It was like, oh, this guy has something different. You know what I mean? And then he just kept crafting out these hits. So you think of really them two. And then, like, when we did the show with Q, I had to think and sit for a second, like, wait a minute. The Calloway brothers got to get their love, too. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because of what they did. You know what I mean? So those are kind of like the three that did it, because I think there was so many shifts after the Boogie era, during the Boogie era to me. And I know we're going to get there. But, yeah, so those are I feel like the top there.
Yeah.
Now, I see everybody's highlighting Quincy, and Quincy definitely deserves his flowers, and Ashford and Simpson.
Simpson. I put Tammy's response on here. Jelly Bean Benitez.
Jelly Bean, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a name I wasn't expecting to hear. Okay.
And I got one.
Of course,
Larry Levin.
Shout, like you said, Q.
Ooh.
Ashford and Simpson.
Ooh, say that again, Q. Say that.
Levin. Larry Levin
again.
Also in the Boogie era sound.
Yes.
And he was the one that originally would do remixes.
He was the remix guy.
They called it alternate mix or whatever. But yes, he was the original king of the remix.
Yes, he was. Before Jelly Bean.
Yes,
right.
Jam and
Timothy
Lewis
says Jam and Lewis, especially that work with SOS band.
I can't. And I tell you why.
Okay,
I can't.
Let's get to it.
As much as I love it, because they top 5 for me. But I think they are a part of the transition of another shift coming out of Boogie to me. We're going to get there. Okay. All right. Gotcha.
We're going to get there.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to get there. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. All right. So we talked about producers. Who are the prominent artists and groups who shape the sound? Like if you met somebody and you were trying to explain to them what boogie music was, for example, my wife, she had no clue that there was a boogie music, right? Or boogie R&B or boogie funk, or however you want to term it, however you want to define it. But if you were talking to somebody and it was like, so y'all talked about boogie, who are some of the artists that came out of this sound? So either one of y'all feel free to answer that.
Like we thrown it out there, I'd say Evelyn Champagne King, Shalimar, D-Train, Patrice Rushen, Renee and Angela.
Yep.
Yes. I would throw the Gap Band in there.
Oh, you got to have it.
Yeah.
You got to. Sky.
Aura.
Yes. It's so many.
Yeah, I would say
God,
Aura.
Aura. Yeah.
Yep, Aura was one of them.
Yep.
The Deal.
The Deal. Yeah.
SOS Band.
Yes.
The Deal.
Yeah.
Cameo.
Cameo. Yeah.
SOS Band, Cameo.
Fun
Shaka,
fact.
especially the What
Shaka,
You Gonna Do For Me album. That's all Boogie.
Yeah, Shaka, for sure. So fun fact. So Dave Grohl, I forgot what alternate rock group he's with. But Dave Grohl said
he started with Nirvana.
And then he went to Red Hot Chili Peppers.
He was the drummer. He was the drummer for Nirvana. He started with Nirvana, and then I don't forgot what band he was after that. Yeah, he's the drummer.
So Dave Grohl said that he learned his drumming style listening to Cameo.
Yes.
He learned his drumming style from listening to Cameo and how Tony Thompson played the drums. And he also said he used to listen to the Gap Band. So again, Boogie music influenced a whole generation of artists.
Yep.
It did. Here's some more. I mean, I'm the chat. First of all, I gotta give a shout out to the chat. The chat is jumping tonight, man. Like
on fire.
It's on fire, man. Patrice Russian was mentioned. Imagination. Tammy mentioned that. Mo Millie mentions One Way.
One Way, definitely.
So, you guys are on it
Myers.
tonight. I love it. I love it. So
Roger and Zapp. You got to talk about Roger and Zapp.
You got to do that. Yes.
Yeah. Alicia Myers. Got to talk about Alicia Myers.
Alicia Myers.
Oh my God. How did we forget about Roger and Zapp in Lakeside?
Oh, Lakeside. Oh,
Lakeside.
Yes.
Gotta give Lakeside the flowers, man. How did we forget about them? Yeah. So Q got on the Soul Train shirt. So we got to talk about the dance shows. Because like you said, Q, escapism. People still wanted to go out and have a good time. People still wanted to go out and party. People still wanted to go out and look their absolute best. And we saw it on TV. So how did dance shows like Dance Fever, Solid Gold, shout out to Marilyn McCoo. I was too young to be having a crush on Marilyn McCoo. And Soul Train, the perfect outlets for the boogie sound.
Well, I mean, with Soul Train, the roots were already there. Even though Don Cornelius didn't like disco, he still, liked black music.
Yeah.
So the roots was already there. Like Soul Train was the perfect outlet for disco and the perfect outlet for transition because Don would showcase the artists that would not be shown on American Bandstand. Now, Bandstand would sometimes throw in a boogie song here and there, but Soul Train was the perfect outlet. Dance Fever, well, the show was Dance Fever. You had to play stuff that people could dance to. Solid Gold, it was the same thing. You had the Solid Gold dancers. They would dance to whatever hot song was on the charts. Now, they were more cosmopolitan as far as who they catered to, but they also showcased boogie artists. So those shows gave you all the elements. They showed you the dance style, the different dances that went along with the music. Soul Train gave you the styles that was coming out during that time. Soul Train was also the one that pushed forward Jerry Curls, but that's a whole nother story.
I agree. I think that of the times we needed that because we know somebody else wasn't playing us. So we needed shows like this, to be honest with you. So it was like, I think Soul Train was already there. So you know what I mean? So we needed that. So those shows did it for real.
Yeah, we gotta mention. We mentioned Bandstand? We talk about Bandstand? Was Bandstand really playing boogie? Was showcasing boogie artists like that?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
They played a few, but not like Soul Train. But they played a few.
So Tammy brings up a good point. I'm gonna put her comment on the screen as well. But she said it helped by allowing artists to be seen because many radio stations didn't play their music. Yeah, it gave people a name with the music or the face with the music, so to speak. Timogen says you got to mention the knockoff Soul Train, Soul Unlimited.
Nope, because they was already dead on arrival.
Dead.
They were dead on arrival.
Yeah.
But Slade. So Nelson
wait a minute.
Slade considered boogie.
Who started Soul Unlimited?
So Dick Clark. Dick Clark started
Dick
Soul
Clark started
Unlimited.
Soul Unlimited.
Yes, he started Soul Unlimited because he wanted to buy Soul Train from Don Cornelius. Don Cornelius said absolutely not. So he wanted to start Soul Unlimited as a rival and even tried to steal Soul Train dancers.
You see how they do us? You see how they do us?
Clarence Avant went to ABC and said, hey, either you take Soul Unlimited off the air or we're going to boycott ABC. And so they only did 6 episodes. They crushed it. And sent it on its way.
Boom. They see how they do us. They try to take us and take the seasoning off and try to sell it. It's like, dang, yo, like, this is nothing new. You know what I mean? And it's just like a Soul Unlimited. They really like how disrespectful is that?
First of all, the name is trash. Soul Unlimited.
So we got to talk about music videos.
Tammy, this is so awesome. Like, I love this comment. Music videos from this era weren't shown unless they were on Video Soul. Let's talk about it. Ooh-wee.
Again, it's true. So music videos help.
You got to remember, BET was founded right when this music was starting to take off.
1980.
When BET started in 1980?
Yes, it did.
BET started in 1980 in the basement of Bob and Sheila Johnson's house that they had in Bowie, Maryland at the time.
And I wish, oh God, I wish Bob would have never sold it.
Bob Johnson was working for the cable television, working for the Cable Television Association or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And cable was just now taking off. So he started Video Soul in the basement of his house.
Yeah. And
they started the Video Soul, BET, but they started by showing music videos, okay, of Boogie artists. Yep. Now, of course, when MTV came online, they were not showing Black artists. They were not
at
showing
all
Boogie artists at all.
Now, talk about it.
They started in 1982. The biggest selling albums that came out in 1982 were Thriller and 1999. So how can you not have Thriller? How could you not have Michael Jackson? How could you not have Prince being shown on a music video channel that has gone worldwide? And I'm glad that David Bowie called their asses out on it too.
Okay? In front of their face.
In front of their face. Had that stammering. He didn't know what to say. So then the Black, I think it was there was a Black music executive conference meeting, something like that.
Yes.
And Dick Griffey said, why is it that our videos are not being played on MTV? But they were smart because they knew that, okay, you can't go to MTV and say, why aren't you playing Shalimar? But you can go to MTV and say, why aren't you playing Michael Jackson or Prince?
Right.
Clarence Avant, Taboo Records was distributed by CBS.
Yes.
Clarence Avant went to the head of CBS Records and said, listen, either you need to start playing Michael Jackson videos. Why is MTV not playing Michael Jackson's videos?
Yep.
So CBS picked up the phone or sent a letter, say, hey, either you play Michael Jackson or you're not playing no artist from CBS Records.
Ain't playing nobody.
Warner Brothers found out, and Warner Communications said the same thing.
Yes, they did.
Or you're not playing no artist associated with Warner Communications. And here we go.
It wouldn't
all of a sudden started showing up on MTV.
A fun fact, it's crazy. It could have been Rick that would have been the first one played on MTV.
Yes.
It would have been him because his song was huge and they wanted to play it, and it was Super Freak was out of here. So they had a meeting with him and he went in and Rick was being him. He like, I'm not gonna dumb myself down for them.
Right.
And they couldn't accept that. And it was also another lady who was actually Black that actually went against Rick.
No surprise.
That did not. You know you always get them. You always get them. You always get that one that's going to sit there and never stand behind what they need to stand behind. They scared. And they was like, Rick was supposed to be played. So it's crazy because what if Rick would have gotten played first and Michael didn't? How music would have been a little different.
Look, if
Because
Rick got played before
Time
Michael,
is everything.
the timing
if
is
Rick
everything.
got played
Because,
before Michael,
Time is everything.
woo,
because
CBS would have burned down MTV. You hear me?
burned. So you hear me? It would have been
Yeah.
a rap. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like with that, it was just like, and then I love how Whitney do her interview, and it was one of the best things I love about her interview when she sat up there and she was like, "I love when they have no choice. I love it when you have no choice. Our songs are too big. You gotta play them. You know what I mean? You have to." So
Because they
it
weren't
was
even
just
playing
like,
her.
right. It was like the only reason why, and they slick with it because they will play, you know, Mike, and then they will play Tina because Tina was doing more of the rock, even though that's us too. But you know what I'm saying? So they would play that, and then you know, once we got to New Jack Swing, they couldn't help it. They had to throw us in there. So MTV can go kick rocks to me. I'm sorry, they can go kick rocks because they did not help Boogie at all. They didn't help us. They didn't want to play us. They didn't care about us at all. So they can go kick rocks. So yes.
Y'all know, y'all remember, if you're of a certain age, y'all remember there weren't no black videos on MTV regularly until the early 90s, y'all. Like MTV Raps debuted in 88. Okay.
Yep.
It wasn't until Bill Bellamy started hosting MTV Jams in 91.
Talk about it.
Countdown show that you started seeing black videos on MTV regularly. Black folks ain't really fool with MTV like that. We watch BET. We watch Video Soul.
Yes, because they played what was deemed the more palatable, acceptable,
mainstream.
They
played the black music that was on the pop charts. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And that's the honest to goodness truth. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Like I said,
and the only black artist that they
1991.
Yeah, and the only black artist you regularly saw in rotation was Michael, Prince, Tina.
Yeah. And then once Whitney come along, she started getting played a lot. And then Janet was getting played a lot. So they were slowly getting us in. But once we got that transition in 1987, it was 86, it was the rap. Like you couldn't have it. Yeah, Lionel. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, forget about Lionel. Yeah.
Yeah, him.
JR, man, why you wave off Lionel like that, man?
I mean, I liked it better when he had the afro with the Commodores. I'm good with that. Because after that, he forgot who he was. But his wife made him let him know how black he really was.
Boy, Brenda Richards went upside the head, did she? Hey, shout out. You know what's crazy? Tammy asked that question. That was actually going to be our next question. It was about music videos. So that was perfect. Yeah. So now we're starting to transition into, so we're still Boogie. Boogie's still hot, but by 86, album by the name of Control came out.
And that did it.
And all of a sudden, they did it. That was the game changer, y'all.
That was it.
Here come Teddy Riley.
Yep.
Keith Sweat guy.
Yeah.
So how did Boogie, how did this sound, Boogie, lay the foundation for what became New Jack Swing?
Because it made synthesized and electricized music acceptable. And once they found out that it was easier to have one or two people programming the keyboards to do all the work, then it was like, oh, let's take this up another notch and let's do something completely different. So here comes Jam and Lewis, who know how to work live instruments, and they've already shown that they could work, electronic instruments. And they said, well, let's just kind of change the sound.
Yes.
So now you're no longer boogieing per se. You still are, but I guess it's done a little bit differently.
Yep. And I think once that happened, and then Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis also knew what to do with the boogie too, because they actually helped with the little transition, because they helped SOS Band. Because when SOS Band first came out in 80, there was a complete take your time, do it right. Does not sound like, you know what I'm saying, tell me why you still care. Like, it's completely different. So Jam and Lewis kind of was getting a footing in. You know what I mean? During that time. Then by the time they get to Janet, it's like, oh, we gonna do this. So now you got Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, you got L.A. Reid and Babyface, you got Teddy Riley, and these guys are coming in. Then you got the Calloway brothers, because hello, Casanova with Levert. Like it was a whole new sound coming in, and it was like, oh, we ain't boogieing no more. We funk too, because they bringing also that funk in there, like that James Brown slide funk. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, we got a couple of years, and that's why it was kind of hard for Kashif and, Leon. It was like after then, they was like, oh, we're not going to be hot like that no more. And then you got to also think about Full Force as well. They don't get their credit as well in too, because once like 84, 85 came out, they come out with Lisa and the Colt Jam and all of that. So they got a sound as well. So it was like by 85, you started seeing that freestyle change. And once the freestyle got commercial, you got that, and then New Jack, it was a wrap.
I almost want to say that the movement, the transition from Boogie to New Jack started with Full Force. Because remember, Lisa them came out 84, 85.
Yes, they
did. That sound was not like Boogie.
No,
and so I almost want to say it was them that started this transition. But they didn't know what to call it yet,
because it was freestyle. It was so New York up north, and it was a sound that they didn't know yet. So it was like, we don't know what to put this in. You know what I mean? So it's like they kind of get a little bit overlooked.
Right.
Yep. Because I wonder if I take you home, it'll sound like an early hip hop record.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They play that at the block parties outside. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
and think about it. Boogie,
man.
You had the Boogie movement going on.
So you had guys, you're right.
That was
85, 86's Full Force, Janet, and then Teddy in 87, 88, and Boogie's no longer a thing at that point. So
we boogieing, but they ain't got no music.
We boogieing, but we ain't got that. So were there any artists from this era who you guys think successfully transitioned from Boogie to New Jack and or traditional R&B?
I'm gonna say
the ones I think I'll answer this. The one group I think that successfully transitioned because of their relationship with Babyface through Solar was the Whispers.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
definitely, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
It's
because you got
kind of hard. It's kind of hard because it's kind of tough with people doing this transition, because a lot of people didn't do it, because a lot of our legacy artists didn't even make it out of Boogie. I mean, out of disco, to be honest. So it was kind of tough for them. You know what I mean? So for them to go back there, to me. And it's not even, but they were out during that time and going to transition. I would say New Edition.
Yeah.
I would say that because they came out in 83. And then once they got with Jam and Lewis, they was out here. You know what I'm saying? So they made a transition too.
Yeah.
Because come on, a lot of our legends tried it and they was terrible. I'm sorry. Aretha, you tried it, sweetheart. No, Clive, you was wrong for that shit. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. It was like, oh, this hurts. Gladys, as much as I love Overboard, no. You know what I mean? Like, that was bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, our legends Tim, I know you in here, but Shaka too.
Yeah, unfortunately.
A lot of them didn't make it out.
Because, I mean, I would say that, like, Gladys was able to transition into Boogie. Because some of the stuff, their stuff was Boogie.
Yeah.
Yes, it
was.
But because of their style, they did not fit in with the New Jack era. Now, had they been like Anita Baker, Anita Baker wasn't trying to fit in, she just kept singing the way she always did.
Talk about it, Q.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh God. Woo.
But I was gonna say one of the artists, believe it or not, Janet, because Janet started in the Boogie era.
Oh, Janet started out as Boogie. She did.
Janet started out in the Boogie era. Let's not forget Young Love. And then she came up with the next album that was what the hell was the album called?
Dream Street.
Dream Street.
Yeah.
Dream Street.
Woo.
And so when she got to album number 3, that's when. So
because we talked about what's her name? Renee and Angela. We talked about them being a part of the and they did Janet's first album. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yes, I didn't even think about that, to be honest with you. So when you threw that out there, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, he's right. I'm like,
technically, the Ozzy brothers, technically, they made
go there.
We did.
Although
we did a whole episode on MQ, and one of the things you said about the Isley Brothers was the fact that they were able to successfully transition out of every era and have hits.
Yes.
But now I will say that things were a little slow for them during the New Jack Swing era. You know,
well,
it kind of was a little bit slow.
It was a little bit slow. It was slow.
It was,
about 5 miles an hour for the second of it. Like, yes. It was hard for them. It's a new person's game. It was a new person's game, and they trying to fit in, and it just didn't work. When you got Aretha saying, "I want to make you sweat," it's like, girl, really?
Don't hit.
Oh,
really?
Patti LaBelle.
And then Patty got feels like another one, so she had a little bit of
feels like another one.
Big Daddy Kane. It was cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maze featured Frankie Beverly.
What the fuck? How the hell did we forget them?
Yeah.
They was in the
How did we forget about them?
And yes! Slowly, sort of in the New Jack Swing, but now I think they needed some different producers.
Yeah.
I think they would have taken off. Like if they had like a baby face in LA working with them, like the Whispers did, I think they would have took off. But
I agree.
You know,
Mo said things didn't pick up with the Isis until they got with you know who. Yeah,
we know.
That's the truth. I mean, they got a couple with Angela Winbush. She gave him a little bit.
They did,
a little bit with that, but they took off with Sylvester.
Yeah, with you know who, Chester. I'm sorry. Listen, you can do what you want to do, but we on this podcast, and I know on the
right.
We don't talk about Robert
at all. At least would have put down her damn thing, her computer. She'd been like, "Next case."
yeah, for real. Listen, those of us that are a certain age, when you call somebody a Chester, you know exactly what we mean, and Robert was that.
That part.
Yes.
So we started near the end of our Q&A. So, guys, what do you think is the legacy of the Boogie era? Like, what do you think is the legacy?
For me, I think it has a very stable thing when it comes to Black music to me, because disco was they really tried to end us with that. And we had to really be creative, and really as creative as we are, we had to do something. You know what I mean? And with the little bit that we had, we wasn't getting a lot of distribution. We wasn't getting a lot of radio, DJs playing us, and we had to do something. And we needed something for us to experiment, because this was experimenting. Because again, in the 70s, we were rocking like in any way possible. We were rocking. But when they tried to stop us, we kind of had to get it all together. And this Boogie era was showing them that you can't stop us. We're just too good. You know what I mean? We too good. Then you created MTV to still block us, because now we're becoming in this. It's an image. Now we got to see you now. And then you try to block us with that. and you still couldn't. So when you talk about black music, Boogie era has to be discussed because it was us trying to pick up the pieces of what we had. You know what I mean? And I think if you cannot talk about black music without talking about the Boogie era, post disco, whatever you want to call it, but you just can't, because this is us picking up the pieces and doing what we got to do and moving forward, like we always do in this world when it comes to black and brown people. Just saying.
The Boogie era for me is one, like you said, JR. It basically picked up the pieces and the aftermath, of what happened with disco, but also it helped people get through tough times because let's face it, certain person got elected president, and you had trickle down economics, and you had this and that. People still just wanted to feel good, and so the Boogie era helped with that, and it proved once again that we were unstoppable. We're unstoppable. And I think it was kind of like a buffer, right? In my opinion. It's going to sound weird, but I think it was a buffer because while the Boogie era was going on, hip hop was able to build up. And so when the Boogie era started transitioning out to New Jack Swing, because New Jack Swing and hip hop were running parallel and it ended up crossing over, well, we saw the results. So they tried to stop something, but you didn't. You just created a bigger monster.
That's all.
That's all you did. That's all you did.
So if you got all right, so next question. Okay, we got to talk about some of the songs, right? Because that's what we talk about a lot on the show. So if you guys, I'm gonna let you answer this first, Q. If you guys were putting together a playlist of songs from the Boogie era, what songs are on the playlist? So Q, give me your songs that are must-haves on your Boogie playlist, and then JR, you answer after Q. So what are some songs on your?
Gotcha.
What you got?
Well, you already know I'm gonna say Shalimar made that move. I'm gonna say Wet My Whistle, Midnight Star. I'm gonna say Got to Be Enough by Confunction.
Ooh.
And I'm also gonna say
okay.
I'm gonna say good Lord, Cameo. I'm trying to think which Cameo song. She's Strange. I'm gonna say The Deal.
Yeah.
9 to 5 and Material Things. Gotta throw the Whispers in there too. Just pick a song.
Okay. Just any one of them.
It's just so much.
Yeah.
But those would be mine that I definitely have to have on the and the Gap Band. Outstanding.
Okay. All right. JR, what you got, man? What's on your Boogie playlist? Required.
Oh my God. Okay. The first one I was gonna say Outstanding, but I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna go with I'm in Love with Evelyn Champagne King. I'm gonna go with Forgive Me Nots with Patrice Rushen. I'm gonna go with So Fine by Howard Johnson.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go with
right there.
Junior, where Mama used to stay. Hey.
Yes.
Okay, maybe one more. I'm trying to think. Obviously, anything with Shalimar, but I would throw it because Make That Move is an R&B Reps anthem. So yes. But I would actually try to with Shalimar. I would throw in A Night to Remember. I'll throw that in there. Night to Remember. So those would be my 8 for real.
Okay. All right. I saw a couple more suggestions in the comments. I see Tammy said no parking on the dance floor. Shout out to Midnight Star. Boogie Oogie, Taste of Honey. Yeah.
Okay.
So we got some more jams in there. Okay. Who else we got in there? So Rescue Me by Taste of Honey. Yeah, boy. Hey man, y'all, there's some Boogie experts in this chat today. Shout out to the chat, man. I'm loving it, man. Y'all on tonight.
I just thought of another one. Don't Stop the Music by Yali and the Peoples. That's another one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Got
All
to
right.
have that.
So, next question. What are some current artists that you hear the influence of Boogie in their music? JR's face.
Usher.
What are some current artists?
Usher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Bruno Mars. Somebody. Yeah, Neltron said Bruno Mars. I agree.
Bruno, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say Bruno Mars.
Yeah, Bruno.
Yeah.
Maybe The Weeknd.
I like weekdays, not weekends.
The Weeknd. Yeah, Anderson .Paak. Yeah.
Anderson .Paak.
Oh, Anderson. Yeah. Good one. Anderson .Paak.
Yeah. That's a good one. So what JR said, he like weekdays.
Oh, that's kind of hard because not a lot of these new artists. Not a lot of these new artists
man.
From the Boogie era.
They don't.
No.
They only sample in the 90s, and that's it. They're not going any further. Like, y'all, there's so much music, y'all. Like, y'all can go back, but they stick to the 90s, and that's about it.
Thank you. Yeah. But
good one, Kamani. Corey Henry, yes. Corey Henry, yes. He's another one that is influenced. And I'm going to say another, maybe a producer that is to me. I would say D-Mile. D-Mile is definitely influenced. If you listen to his what he did with Lucky Day, what he did with India Shawn, like a lot of that is in there. So I would say that, you know what I mean? And yes, Thundercat, you know what I'm saying? PJ Morton is just, I feel like he's
someone
just
said
Stevie.
PJ.
He's just Stevie.
PJ Morton, he's more
Stevie's child. Like
soulful, not necessarily Boogie, because I don't know if him have any Boogie songs, but he's more soulful.
Yeah. So JR, you brought up a good point. You said these artists they only look to one era. It's the 90s. Listen, for you new artists out there, if you happen to be scrolling and this episode comes up on your feed and you get to this part of the show, there's so much more music out there for you guys to listen to. The 90s ain't the only era of R&B. Okay? And also, if you're going to sample a song, learn the true art of sampling. Don't sample the whole damn song or use the chorus from the song as the chorus on your new song. Actually, own stuff, right? That's my advice.
And what's crazy is a lot of them don't realize that the song that they sampling was sampled itself.
That part. And Prince said it. Prince said it back in the day. He said they're going to sample the sample. And they're doing that.
Yes, they're doing that. It's like, y'all paying
they are.
triple the price, right?
Yep.
Right, that part.
You're not getting no money because you having to pay royalties and sample and pay permission fees on the samples that you're using. So Anyway, all right. Last question: who's on the Mount Rushmore of Boogie? Got to pick 4. Who's your 4? Who's going on the Mount Rushmore?
Oh my God! Like this was hard. Like when you said that, I said they petty for this. I'm like, all right, so I gotta throw Kashif on there.
You can blame Q because he come up with some of these questions.
I had a feeling it was Q. I'm gonna go to Kashif. I'm gonna say Leon Silvers. I'm getting more producers anyway. I'm gonna throw Patrice Rushen on there, and I'm going to throw I'm gonna have to say Renee and Angela to me when I think about that. So I'm thinking of those, and so Patrice Rushen, Renee and Angela, really Angela Winbush, no shade, and Kashif and Leon Silvers. Those are my 4.
All right, Q. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of Boogie, man?
You know what? I'm gonna go in a slightly different direction. Gotta have Leon Silvers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Rick James on there because Rick James was a hell of a producer during that time. I'm gonna go with narrator Michael Walden because he crafted a lot of Boogie hits.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, I'm gonna go with Paul Lawrence.
Okay.
I'm glad you said that.
I had to stick with producers versus just artists because you try to do the artists, it's just way too many.
Too many.
It's too many. It's too many to narrow them down to 4. And I knew y'all were gonna go in that direction too. Yeah. I figured y'all were gonna go in that direction. Yeah. All right. This is now where all right. So that's the end of our Q&A, man. I appreciate y'all doing this deep dive, man. I like this format. This was dope, y'all.
Yes.
The audience, man, they got into it. The chat. Shout out to the chat. Listen, so while we transition into the next segment, me and Q had asked this question on the last episode. We need a name for the chat, like, because it's like a family. It's like a family, man. So yourself, what would you call yourself? What the chat? What are y'all thinking, man? How would you?
I know because I need to think because I'll be up in there cutting up for real. So I need.
I'm telling you, man. Look, Tim just requested a playlist, man. We'll have to work on that. I'm gonna have to work with Q heavy on that, man. I work with Q and JR to send me some songs to go on the playlist. Okay, we'll have it out to y'all soon. Yeah. Yeah. So y'all be thinking about that, man. What's a name for the chat? The chat be popping, bro. It was popping for real today.
Yeah, it was. Yep. We're open to all suggestions.
Yes.
So if y'all figure something out, let us know, man. You can inbox me or Q on our Instagram pages. And
I sure will.
So let us know. The Saturday sitters, no. No, come on, Deltron. Timothy says the Saturday turn up. The sitters. No, ma'am. No. Look, I'm about to kick y'all out the chat. There's an option on here for me to remove you from the conversation. For that,
that was classic. That was a classic moment.
No. I ain't gonna say to that. Just no.
Yeah, the Saturday sitters. All right, JR, audience, we are now at my favorite part, one of my favorite parts of the show. This and that. Boogie edition. Okay. The part that Q always coming up with these difficult ass questions. All right.
Coming up with stuff, man. My bad.
I love it.
All right. This or that. Okay, here we go. Y'all ready? Audience, y'all ready? Let's go. All right. Atlantic Star or Midnight Star? Q.
Atlantic Star.
Okay. JR.
Oh, Lord. I'm gonna go with Midnight Star.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go with Atlantic Star, but not with Barbara Weathers. Yeah. Look at JR's face. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Atlantic Star, but not with Barbara Weathers. Yeah. All right. No disrespect, or as the kids say, respectfully. All right. Cameo or Confunction?
I'm going with Cameo.
I'm going with Confunction.
I'm going with Cameo. All right, audience, what y'all got, audience? Let me see the responses. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we got one for Confunction, one for Cameo. It's a little slow coming through. All right, so I think the audience might be split like us. Somebody said beautiful gals. All right, so damn Cameo, but I love Confunction. Okay.
Right. That's what I'm at with it.
All right. Don't be mad at us for this one, JR. Pre-control Janet
Y'all
Jackson.
Disrespectful. No.
Or Stacey Lattisaw.
Need a drink. I need a drink.
Timmy just said cameo. Timmy just said cameo. Beautiful leather and flat tops.
Oh my God.
And jock straps.
Goodbye.
Get out of here, Timothy. Timothy and they'll try to ban from the chat.
Yes. Well, I'm picking pre-control Janet. That's me, even though I can't stand Dream Street, but I gotta go with Mama.
Okay. All right, who you got, Q?
Stacey Lattisaw.
That girl for a minute now.
She was.
I'm picking Stacey Lattisaw because before, pre-control Janet jumped off, she was,
that girl. Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
she was.
I'm going with Stacey too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sky or Aura? JR passed out. Sky or Aura?
Y'all petty for these. Damn. Oh, it's not you, T. It's not you.
Nah. This ain't me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go with Sky. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Sky.
I'm going with Sky also.
Oh.
All right. So we unanimous on that. All right. Leon Silvers III or Narda Michael Walden?
I know this was Q. I know this was Q. All right, I'm gonna go with Leon. I'm gonna go with Leon, even though I love Narda Michael Walden, but I'm gonna go with Leon.
Man.
I gotta go with Leon.
I'm going with Leon, man. I'm going with Leon. All right. Solar Records or South Soul Records?
Solar for me. They top 5 for me. I'm gonna go with Solar.
Easy. Yeah, Solar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got to. All right. Someone say I'll go with the curl, Narda. You talking about Narda in the Freeway of Love video?
Yeah.
He's on the drum. Oh my God. Roger and Zap or Lakeside?
This is terrible.
Look, it's quiet, boy. It is quiet.
No, oh my God. Is my mother asleep?
Look, I'm trying to make sure you get invited. I'm going with Roger and Zap.
I'm gonna go with that. My pick Zap.
I'm going with Lakeside.
I'm kicking Timogen out of here. Look at this comment. Beautiful vocoders and blazers.
I'm going with Lakeside. Lakeside gave you the damn Indiana Jones album covers.
They did. They did.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You know what I'm saying? That alone, because I like Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom. That alone is just like,
Yeah, they did. They did give us an Indiana Jones album cover. Y'all remember have y'all seen the music video for Fantastic Voyage? Them boys dress up like pirates for real.
I have never seen it. Are you serious?
Oh my God. Look, when you after this go off, JR, go to YouTube and watch the Fantastic Voyage video. It's a performance video, and them cats got on pirate costumes, man.
Okay.
Oh man.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. I'm definitely gonna have to watch this video.
Kool in the Gang or Gap Band?
I'm not answering this.
I'm not answering this.
I'm not answering this.
Dang, man. You're not answering?
Oh my God. Y'all are petty for these. Oh, okay.
What can I say?
Right.
Hey, Q, these were good, man. These were good. You sent me that list this week. I was like, damn.
Oh my God. I'm gonna go with the.
We talking Boogie era now. We're not talking overall.
It's still tough.
Cooler Gang has some Boogie hits now. That whole
They
Emergency
did.
album.
Okay. Let me flip a coin. How about that?
All right, Q, who you got?
I'm going with Gap Band.
I'm gonna go with Gap.
I'm gonna go.
Damn, that hurt.
With Gap.
Gap. I'm gonna go with Gap.
Yeah, I'm going with Gap. I'm going with Gap Band. All right, last one on the artist: Kashif or Billy Ocean?
Well, for my co-host, she would have picked Billy, but I go with Kashif.
Okay, so Elise would have picked Billy.
She loves Billy, and her mother loves Billy, so yeah.
Yeah. I listened to a lot of Billy Ocean in my household growing up, man. So I gotta go with Billy.
I am going to go with Kashif.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going with Kashif. So, but not Billy, because Billy gave us boogie music before, or right before Caribbean Queen. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Best Boogie era commercial.
Y'all both get off of here. Y'all both get off this live. Y'all both get off this live. I'm not fooling with y'all.
He done with us, Q. He done with us, man.
I know.
Slip Smoke, Liquor Bull, or Colt 45. What we going with, y'all? Best Boogie era commercial. Listen, man, that bull used to be chasing brothers down the street.
That bull came through the wall.
Yes.
That bull used to come through the wall. I like Billy D. Williams and all because he was super smooth while sitting on the Colt 45. But the bull used to come through the wall.
Yes.
The bull. Yeah, I gotta go with the bull, man.
I'm going with the bull.
Yeah. Boy, people are cracking up on
this,
man.
If you're not ready to get on the bull, stay off.
Yeah.
Stay off.
Now.
Stay off. And I know this for a fact. Stay off of it if you're not ready. Okay? I know. First-hand experience. When I drank 2 master cylinders of it, I know for sure. Don't ride that bull if you're not ready.
But that's not a beer. That's gasoline in a glass container. Oh man, that was fun, man. That's probably that right there is one of my favorite this or that, man. I'm gonna have to clip these.
Oh my god, I can't believe you.
Yeah, turn them into shorts. Sorry, JR. Again,
yeah, I feel attacked because that was a drinking one from me. So I feel
Q, they'll try messing with you, man. Said you had experience riding the bull, man.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Oh my god. Oh man. So we're nearing the end of this episode, but as always, we have to do some housekeeping. So Q, tell the people what's coming up for our season finale next month.
Season 2 finale is going to be Hot Takes Part 2.
Oh shit.
Oh yes.
I can't wait for this.
It's coming back, baby.
It's coming back.
We got a whole lot to talk about.
A lot.
We got a whole lot to talk about. So get ready. Get your popcorn ready because we are going in.
I guess because I love y'all hot takes. I'm here for this.
Yeah, man. This was this was what we ended last season with. And it was actually our first YouTube episode. So it's going to be like serve as an anniversary of YouTube and also the end of our second year doing this podcast. But we bringing back the homie JB, and then we're gonna be joined by another homie, Mike Brown. We're gonna drop some, like I said, it's gonna be some hot takes. They're gonna be hot. They're gonna be spicy. Woo. They're gonna be controversial. It's gonna be some trash talk. Yeah, this gonna be good. So y'all look forward to that.
The chat ready? What?
Yeah.
Get ready.
These hot. Yeah. So last year, just to kind of recap last year's hot takes. Q called it about Not Like Us. And he said Drake was done. He was right.
And right.
And I said something about Lauryn Hill. And shortly thereafter, she canceled another tour. And then JB talked about the future of hip hop being female, and like basically like the female rappers dominated the charts 2024 going into 2025. So yeah, man,
People,
a lot of what we
people
said
listening, y'all. People listening to
Yeah.
y'all. Believe it.
Yeah. So yes, JB chimed in and said he been putting his list together on his tanks on his he put his list together since January. Oh yeah. Look, Mo mentioned Tank. Yeah, we did go off on Tank, but that was on that was on the 80s episode with JR and Elise. We went off.
Yeah.
And so after I posted your video, after I posted our video, it was two of them because we went in, we talked about Tank for about 15 minutes.
Yeah, we did.
Mo shared it on her stories and tagged Tank in it. He saw it.
Oh shit! For real?
She saw it. Yeah,
Good.
She saw it.
Good.
She DM'd me and said, "Yo, T, you won't believe it." She said, "Tank watched the story when y'all was going in." I said, "I hope he saw all of it."
All of it.
All of it.
Yeah. I hope he watched both of them.
Yep.
Yeah. Somebody said, "Damn, Bo, you a real one." Yeah. He was wrong for that. We should do another take on him. Anyway. All right. So tune in next month. We'll let you guys know a date soon. We're going to be bringing back hot takes to end season 2. All right.
Yep.
As always, we ask you guys to subscribe, follow, like, share the Saturday Sit Down on YouTube. Tell your mama, your daddy, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. Tell the folk walking down the street. They like music. They like the truth. They like a good podcast. They want something that's going to keep them engaged for however long we decide to talk. Then tune in to the Saturday Sit Down. Trust me.
Yep. This is where it's at.
Yeah, this is where it's at right here. So tune in, y'all. All right. So before we conclude, JR, thank you, man. Thank you for your support. We appreciate you, man. You a day one. Back when we was doing this on YouTube and we was still getting our footing about Instagram. Back when we was doing this on Instagram. We was still getting our footing and trying to figure out how we was going to do this thing and if we was going to stick with it, man. You've been one of our biggest supporters, you and Sister Elise, man. So thank you. Shout out to Elise.
Yes. To the co-host.
R&B representatives.
I want to thank y'all for real. I want y'all to keep doing what y'all doing. Y'all need it out here for real. Like y'all do not understand. Let me tell y'all, when me and Elise talking, we be seeing other people trying to be y'all. I'm like, no, you cannot be the Saturday Sit Down crew. No, you cannot. Y'all got some followers out here. I want y'all to know that. Like, there's people trying to do what y'all do, and they can't. To be honest with y'all guys are needed. Please, like, keep doing this, man. Y'all are doing. When y'all did the gospel episode, I was just through. I was like, y'all, throw the mics down. Like, y'all is just in your own lane, and I want y'all to keep doing what y'all doing because y'all are dope as hell. You know what I'm saying? We be in the chat cutting up for real, and y'all just amazing. I want y'all to keep doing what y'all doing because y'all are the shit, and I want y'all to know that. So yes.
All right, man. Well, listen, man, we appreciate the love, man. And like Q and I said on last episode, man, we do this because 1, we love music. Number 2, we just love the artists, and we want to make sure we tell their stories and tell the truth about their stories, and not just be out here just saying stuff just for like, shares, and engagement, man. Because there's so many podcasts out here that folks just being loud and wrong, knowing they wrong. Just so they can get engagement, man. I'm not gonna do that, and Q ain't gonna do that. So that's not our thing, man. We appreciate the love, brother. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support as always.
We definitely do.
Yeah, and shout out to the chat, man. I done said it over and over on this episode, man. The chat was hopping tonight, man. So we hope y'all tune in, spread the word. Like I said, like, share, subscribe, follow, check us out. Q, I checked before this episode. We're less than 20 followers away from 300, so we're almost there, brother. We
moving up.
Yes.
Yeah. We moving on up, man. So, signing off. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next month. We'll keep you guys posted on the next date. probably in the next couple weeks. But I am T Harris at When the Needle Drops. Again, want to thank you, our guest JR from the R&B Reps. Shout out to his co-host Elise in her absence. We love you, Elise, and we hope we can collaborate with you again soon. We're gonna definitely catch up. And Q.
I am QG at Nerdy Little Bubble. We want to thank you for joining us once again. Let's do it again next month, same time, same station, and you can bet your last money it's all gonna be a Stone Gas Honey. Shout out to the R&B representatives, JR, for being with us today. Make sure you come back.
Oh yeah, I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna be an ant when it comes to y'all.
Let's go. All right, y'all have a blessed night.